I'm testing out my ND filter outside in the evening by the road next to a storm drain. JJC ND filter for the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. Let's go! And there is a helicopter that is going over where I'm sitting. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I wanted to share some thoughts. They're a little bit abstract, but I thought you guys might think they're cool. You know when you get your first camera and you're kind of just like trying to figure out how to make the camera work? You're completely dependent on the auto settings. You're completely dependent on the color profile, and you're basically like, I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna do anything other than auto settings and normal color profile. I was thinking, that's kind of how life is like. We all have our individual lives that we live. Everything's sort of standardized and set up. The people that we interact with, the food we eat, the routines that we have, places that we go, where we live. And that is a lot like shooting in auto settings. And that is a lot like shooting in the normal color profile. But I think as we get older in life and we build more experience, we start to get a sense of, oh, something's missing. Or maybe it's like, oh, you know what? That belief or principle that I had before, I don't know if I think about it the same way. Or maybe I have a completely different perspective altogether. I've been in that headspace lately. There are some things that I had in my normal color profile of a life, in my auto settings, that I feel like need to change because I don't think the same way or believe the same way that I did before. And so knowing that,
sorry, there are little mosquitoes and bugs, is this?
Knowing that, it's a little bit scary because all you've got your standard color profile, but that doesn't really change. You can try and add color grading or LUTs on top of it, but at that point you run the risk of saturation, right? And so really, at that point, you really have no other choice but to start considering, like, what does it look like to shoot in S-Log3? What does it look like to shoot in D-LogM if you're a DJI person? That's a little scary. What does it look like to shoot in manual mode? That's a little scary. You're dealing with an image as you're recording that you're really not sure, like, what it's gonna look like at the end of things. All of the color and things is all, like, extracted. But then when you make the choice to do that, to take the risk, like, to sort of take the wheel, you start to have a lot more creative control in a way where you are able to establish an image or a video that is very distinctly you. You have that creative license, that creative autonomy. When we make the choice to think for ourselves and build our own conclusions and establish what's important to us, speak it out loud and let actions back up our words, then we are effectively weaning off the auto mode and the color profiles, shooting in manual mode, shooting in D-LogM, using ND filters to kind of make our own path forward. My seatbelt statement to that is, I do think that prioritizing faith in God and letting Him be the master of our lives is important. We follow God, we follow His word, and then knowing that He's given us freedom and given us free will and autonomy to some degree, that we can look at S-Log3 and manual mode as an opportunity to continue to shape the contour of our lives under His sovereignty. I know, it's very abstract, but I think it's good to talk about abstract things and to think about abstract things. So what do you think? I know it's kind of random, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments. Thanks.